On this week's adventure, we're back in Hawaii, where Kurt and I get slapped in the face by many branches, and I follow the dudes with a Mavic Pro in one of the most scenic places I've ever been. So stick around for an off-road adventure through a place that should be on every dual sporter's bucket list, Maui, Hawaii. Alright guys, before we get started on the video, I just wanted to take a quick minute to thank my good friend Greg Hoxie. Greg was one of the huge players in making this whole trip possible. He let me borrow his Husqvarna TE449 for the whole trip, so the trip wouldn't have happened without Greg. So thank you so much, Greg. He didn't ask for anything in return, but Greg does run a videography and photography and wedding planning business. So if any of you guys are gonna go to Maui and need some pictures taken or anything done, contact Greg. I'm going to put a card up in the corner. Check out Greg, he's a great guy. Thank you so much, Greg, for doing what you did. All right, so back on Maui. Kurt, Jordan, Doss, and I saddled up on the dual sports, sometimes literally.
Oh, no.
And finally, we were going to hit some dirt trails near Lahaina on the west side of the island. I'd been craving some of that nasty jungle carnage since I first saw Adventure Now by accidental broadcast. And while I'd had some samples of Maui dirt during the amazing trek up Haleakala and on the highway to Hana, today was the day we'd put the knobbies to good use. We gassed up, dolled up, cleaned up, aired down, and finally, after years of experiencing it only through pixels, it was time to actually disappear into the dark, wet jungle. While Greg's Husqvarna was a bit touchy on the paved stuff, it absolutely sung while off-road. This is the kind of riding that I love. Not really structured, nobody really leading the pack, no competition, just a bunch of dudes shredding whatever trails they could find, getting lost, dropping the bikes, and having some good old-fashioned laughs. Kurt and I made 2 excellent duo vlogs that you'll want to make sure to check out by clicking the cards in the corner. We had an excellent time, and I hope it shows in just the conversations and fun times we had during those rides.
Hey, there actually is a trail.
Slow going on this ultra slick trail mixed with insane heat meant that the hydraulic clutch on the 449 needed a few breathers on the hill climbs. It wasn't the only thing that needed cooling off though. The slick trail meant high RPMs and very little airflow through the radiators, so we hauled down the double track to get some ocean breeze into our iron lungs. Before we were back at the sea, where I was lucky enough to catch a few whale breaches. I didn't even know how this happens. I pointed my camera out to sea, pressed record, and got ridiculously lucky. Most of the time I tried to avoid paved roads, but on Maui it's a different story. The dirt is so choice, but the roads aren't too shabby either, and roads on Maui have some dirty features, like jumps. It seems like every few miles along the coast there's a little offshoot leading to the ocean, some amazing rocky overlook populated by a tourist or two, and perhaps a few romantics sneaking away to steal some kisses.
Oh, 'cause 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 'cause
continued on around the island, jutting off the road at every whim to make sure we were milking as much dual from our dual sports as possible. But while the off-roading was a blast, the pavement just kept getting better, twisting and arcing around dramatic cliffside overlooks, a narrow single-lane road carved out of the cliffside. The scenery, oh man, the scenery. However, on a road like this, a gawking tourist coming around a blind corner could mean a very short and painful stop. Low on water, we stopped above the village of Kahakaloa. The scene here was a perfect painting of rural Maui, a coastal village in the shadow of a massive volcanic sentinel. Kids playing basketball with a homemade standard and a grass court, not 100 yards from a coarse black sand beach. A local rundown church, food trucks and shacks filled with trinkets and fresh fruit, basting the air with barbecued meats. Colorful locals chatting about the epic rides of yore, complaining about the tourists and how they have no idea how to negotiate a single-lane road. It's like if you took the definition of mellow and made it into a place where time is valued above all else, right next to family and delicious food. I couldn't help but to soak it all in for as long as I possibly could. We continued on the Kahikili Highway, and the riding was like something out of a dream. This single-lane road towered and twisted over rocky shorelines and white foaming waves, rolling grasslands punctuated by switchbacks and hairpin turns, with the occasional dirt offshoot to a rocky playground. It's a dual sporter's dreamland of winding curves, epic overlooks, chicanes, straights, and banks that pushed our brakes, engines, and knobby tires to the limit. Maui is perhaps one of the most perfect places for a dual sport motorcycle ever. Low-speed highways, twists in the thousands, pristine ocean overlooks, single-lane coastal backroads, incredible food, offshoots and single tracks and jungle adventures. The very vibe of the place is happily addictive, and I crave the day when I can return for more. On this tiny island, no bigger than the county that I live and ride in, there was so much to see, so many foods to eat, adventures to be had, trails to explore, people to meet. I can't help but feel like there's so much unfinished about Maui. I hope that someday I'll have a chance to return, but even if I returned 1,000 times, I don't think I'd see a fraction of what this place truly has to offer. Hey, thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentle-tubers. I want to thank Greg again, and also Kurt for taking a week off to hang out with me and put up with me and all my filming quirks. A huge congratulations to Kurt for hitting 10,000 subscribers on his awesome watch channel, Minute Watch. You guys should definitely head over and check that out. There's a reason he's getting such a following. You've seriously got to see it. And as always, a tremendous thanks to my patrons for making videos like this happen, and a big thanks to you for sticking around and liking the video. Much love, eveRide out.